Coming to you live from downtown Windsor, this is a St. Clair College MediaPlex production.
Good evening, I'm Gracie Lowe's.
And I'm Zachary Balog.
And you're watching
the MediaPlex Insider.
Constable Sarah Werstein from Crime Stoppers gave us our weekly Crime Stoppers update.
The Windsor Police Service Amherstburg Detachment is seeking the public's help to identify a suspect after a home on Hawthorne Crescent was shot at multiple times on Thursday, October 12th, shortly after midnight. Members of the Amherstburg Criminal Investigation Division are investigating and believe this to be a targeted incident. Residents with surveillance or dashcam footage are asked to check for video evidence between 10 p.m. and 11:59 p.m. on October 11th. Anyone with information is asked to call the Amherstburg Criminal Investigation Division, or should you wish to remain anonymous, you can submit a tip by calling Crime Stoppers at 519-258-8477 or online at catchcrooks.com. I'm Police Coordinator Sarah Werstein.
Let's head outside to where Joelle Broussard is standing by with an early look at the weather. Joelle?
Let's look at overnight, where it will be cloudy with fog patches developing after midnight and a low of 5. I'll be back a little later in the broadcast with the 3-day forecast. Back to you.
It is not true that the city of Windsor is going to the birds, but they are concerned about them. Dale Kabukian tells us more.
Brock Leclerc sits by the riverside to pass the time before his class. He enjoys the view as well as the sounds of birds chirping.
The noise, they're like the chirps, the sounds, it's a nice background. It's a nice change of pace from all the car noise and all the people and just all the loudness.
The city of Windsor is establishing its bird team to maintain its bird-friendly status that was established in June last year. The bird team is expected to address and mitigate threats to birds, protect and restore natural habitat to increase climate resiliency in the city, and conduct community outreach to educate the public. This, in addition to city's action to neuter 260 cats to mitigate threats, the creation of a master plan to protect and increase birds' habitats, expansion of urban forest canopy, and reduction of plastic waste.
I think the fact that Windsor, Essex is surrounded by water. We have birds all over the place. Point Pelee National Park is a very big bird place where birders go from all over the world actually to look for birds. So I think it's just natural that Windsor is designated as a bird-friendly city moving forward.
Local naturalists, indigenous members, local environmental business owners, and humane society staff are invited to take part. The city administration recommends the working group to work under the Environment and Climate Change Advisory Committee with the Environmental Sustainability Coordinator as the working lead. For MediaPlex News, I am Dale Kabukin.
The city of Windsor has begun holding a bi-weekly ward meetings. Solani Chauhan has the story.
The City of Windsor has made grievances communication easier. Ward meetings are being held weekly by your city councillors this October until November to share your thoughts and neighborhood issues that are important to you. Tomorrow, Eddie Salmon will be at Constable John Atkinson Memorial Community Center in Ward 5 to listen to your concern.
This is an opportunity for the constituent, for the people who live in my ward, and also for other people who live in different wards to come in and ask questions. Maybe some question on their mind. They want to know what is the city's budget, or we want to know why we spend too much or too little on some project. They want to know if we are looking at the taxes, whether to lower the taxes for the average person.
All ward meetings along with times and addresses are also posted on the City of Windsor website at citywindsor.ca. For MediaPlex News, I'm Saloni Chauhan.
Jafia Appleby brings us this story on how one immigrant student balances her busy work and student life here at St. Clair College. Let's watch.
She was barely 17 when she left Nigeria for Windsor, Ontario, on her journey to excellence. Meet Awa Oluwa, passionately called Awa, a 17-year-old St. Clair College student making strides in the academic and professional world. She majors in social work but also works part-time in the marketing department.
My mom has the biggest impact on my life. She's the reason, well, apart from God, exactly. Apart from God, she's the reason why I am here today.
And yes, she also finds the time to be a social butterfly, making sure that she gets the full college experience as a young teenager. Her maturity too is commendable as she's able to balance academics and work.
How I balance my professional and my work life is simple. Number one, I feel because the nature of my personality, um, I'm an organized type. So like if a week is about to begin, I have to schedule this is what I'm doing. By this time, this is what I should be doing. By this time I should have slept. By this time I should take my lunch. By this time I should come to work. By this time this is the amount of hours.
Therefore, Awa doesn't just excel in the classroom, she's also making waves in the professional world. Let's take a peek into Awa's part time job. This is where she assists with incoming queries and takes meeting notes to assist in the flowing of the department. But one does wonder, how did all of this begin? Awa Aluwa's story is a reminder that age is no barrier to success when you have passion, dedication, and the right support system. For the MediaPlex Insider, I'm Jaffia Appleby.
Community is at the heart of one local church trying to make a difference. Julianne LeClaire explains.
Located on the corner of Parent and Wyandotte is the new Parkwood Outreach Center that just opened on September 24th. They're teamed up with Street Help and Bagley Grade School to offer food to people living in the community. This 2-floor building is currently being remodeled to be a safe place for people to come together and help make Windsor better. They currently have teams that are being trained to pick up garbage in the community and to offer safety training and CPR training.
We have a core team of about 15 other individuals that have agreed to come down here for a year and help us launch this outreach center. And so we are planted here in this community to specifically and intentionally assess and serve the needs of the community and the people around us. So we just want people to know that we're here, that we care, that we're listening, and that we want to be here for the long haul.
If you want to give back to the community or have any questions, you can contact 519-948-7055, extension 246. For the MediaPlex, I'm Julianne LeClaire.
Now it's time for Madcast. Here's Veronique and Rebecca with more.
Hello and welcome to Madcast, a podcast where we feature the programs in the School of Media, Art, and Design. I'm Veronique Mandel.
And I'm Rebecca Wright. The advertising program looks like a lot of fun, and I think it's a really cool opportunity for those thinking about taking this program to see and hear from those who will be teaching you.
And joining us today on Madcast are a couple of the mad guys. Program coordinator Steve McEachern.
Right here. Yeah.
And Professor Scott Briscoe. And so why don't you start by sort of telling us a few things about the program?
Okay. Well, the advertising and marketing communications program, I always like to make sure that everyone understands that it's the advertising and marketing communications program and not the marketing program, because those are two separate things. Mm-hmm. Our program covers a lot of things about marketing, but it also identifies the marketing problems, but it gives the kids opportunities on how to solve the problems, and that's what advertising does. So that's why our program's unique compared to other business type related programs. And that's why we're in the School of Media, Art, and Design, because we have to come up with creative solutions to solving marketing problems, and that's what we teach.
Absolutely.
And there's a whole digital aspect to this now, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so I guess in the past 10 years, just because the industry's changed, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people think, too, it's like jingles and TV, but there's quite a few digital classes. I think there's close to like 12 now, or...
We have 12 now, and we have more
coming.
We have more coming. We're going to do cyclical review next year. We've got a couple more in our wheelhouse, and we have more right now. We have more digital programs in our advertising program than any other advertising program in the province.
Wow,
we are way ahead of everybody.
That's what the students love too, right? So when you think about advertising, the stuff that they do and that they like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and creative, that's what we do here.
Now that you've seen and heard from these two fellas, if you have any questions, if you want to set up a tour, if you want to meet in person and discuss further, meet with coordinator Steve. His email is listed at the bottom, or you can give him a call at 519-972-2727, extension 4295.
Right on.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Goodbye.
everybody. Terrific.
This podcast was made possible by the St. Clair College MediaPlex and the School of Media, Art and Design. I'm Veronique Mandel.
And I'm Rebecca Wright.
Let's head back outside to Joelle Broussard for a look at our 3-day forecast. Joelle?
It's actually quite pleasant out here. Let's have a look at what's coming up this week. Wednesday will be mainly cloudy, with fog patches dissipating in the morning and a high of 17. Thursday will be cloudy, with a 60% chance of showers and a high of 14. And Friday kicks off what might be a wet and cloudy weekend, with a 60% chance of showers and a high of 13. That's it for me on the corner of University and Victoria. Back to you.
We have a lot of talented people here at the MediaPlex, such as Morgan Bayerjean. Here's her photo entitled Fall Colors. Thanks, Morgan.
Halloween is just around the corner, so it's time to pick out a pumpkin. Haley Goebel was at Pepes Pumpkin Patch to bring us the details.
It's October and Pepes Pumpkin Patch is celebrating pumpkin season. With Halloween 2 weeks away, people in LaSalle are making their way to pumpkin patches. And Pepes has a large variety of pumpkins to choose from. Co-owner Greg Rushello considers this year's harvest great.
We had quite a wet summer, but the crop came through and yeah, we have tons of pumpkins.
And picking pumpkins is not the only thing you can do. During the season, Pepes offers many family-friendly activities like hay and train rides, a play area for children, and a giant corn maze. Pepes Pumpkin Patch is open 7 days a week until the end of October. Come pick out your perfect pumpkin before it's too late. For MediaPlex News, I'm Haley Goebel.
Here's Joelle Broussard to talk about an upcoming art show.
This week, there will be an exciting live display of art happening at the Fog Lounge. Local artist Milos Main, also known as Dissociation Dude, is having a reception to celebrate the closing and opening of his artwork at Fog Lounge, cleverly titled A Clopening Show. The doors to the show will open at 9 p.m. with music from local bands Birds Witness and Strange Creatures beginning at 10 p.m. There will be pieces of art for sale as well as prints and stickers. The exhibition, titled Poignant Lingering, focuses on how trauma can impact people and how that translates back into art. Dissociation Dude's art will be up on display in local music venue Fog Lounge, located at 157 University Avenue. Come on out to the clopening ceremony and pick yourself up a unique piece of art like this one. For MediaPlex News, I'm Joelle Broussard.
It's fall, but golf at St. Clair College is not done yet. Sydney Langlois reports.
Welcome back to this week's Saints Athletic Scoop. This past week at St. Clair College, we hosted the Golf OCAA Championships at Ambassador Golf Club in Windsor. For the first time since 2007, the men's Division I team brought home the bronze medal with the help and guidance of OCAA Golf Coach of the Year, Kevin Corrigan. Here's what star player Spencer Higginbottom had to say about athletics.
I'm definitely playing sports my whole life, including hockey has definitely helped. Obviously that's a team sport, and golf has been more individual my whole life, but playing on a college golf team is more of a team sport, as the team score always counts. So you're always looking to bring your teammates up and do a better job for them. So there's no quit when you're out there. You always want to make sure you finish all the way till the end.
We also got the chance to speak with Shannon Coffey, who plays fourth individually and is part of the women's team that finished in second place overall.
It's a nice small team, and when we travel, it's nice to actually hang out with the guy team and the girls as well. And it's a close-knit group with actually all the schools, so we all actually know each other. So it's fun when we go on tournaments. I would have to say my first year playing for St. Clair, at the OCs in Kingston, I wasn't far off from medaling the first year, and I played amazing the last day and ended up actually getting second place. So I got to go to Montreal for the CCAAs, which was a very fun experience.
For the MediaPlex, I'm Sydney Langlois.
The Saints football has their share of all-stars. Elliot St. Aubin explains.
This year, the St. Clair College football team has achieved something great. They now have a total of 10 All-Stars on this year's team. That means the Ontario Football Conference named all 10 of its football stars, and St. Clair won all 10 of them. Their defensive backs, Nathaniel Norton and Billy Patterson Jr., both won. This makes them both two-time OFC All-Stars. They have played well this season with a combined total of 6 interceptions. The offensive All-Stars were led by the team's scoring leader, Javier Lewis. In this season, he has made a total of 10 touchdowns. Not far behind him is rookie wide receiver Darius France. Both have also been recognized as All-Stars by the OFC. Running back MJ Doyle Marshall has also been recognized as an All-Star for the first time in his young career. He has had 8 total touchdowns. Along with the touchdowns, he has also had a 9.5 yards per carry average. Come check out how well they play on October 21st when they take on the London Beefeaters for the OFC Championship at Acumen Stadium. For MediaPlex News, I'm Elliot St. Aubin.
Our very own Jesse LaRouche sat down with Mix 96.7's Tori Roovers. Let's watch.
Hello, I'm Jesse LaRouche, and today we are spending 3 minutes with Mix 96.7 morning host, Tori Roovers. Welcome, Tori.
Thanks.
First, I gotta ask you, what got you into radio and content creation?
Well, I was at this little place called the MediaPlex studying public relations, and one of my wonderful professors, Rebecca Wright, told me about a media company called Blackburn Radio who was hiring a summer patroller, and I ended up working there doing summer patrol work for, I want to say it was 3 years, 3 summers. I graduated PR, I was doing marketing full-time and whatnot, but I still kind of had the job there doing part-time work. And then right before COVID, one of their morning show co-hosts, she left, and they said, well, we're looking for somebody like Tori. And I was like, well, you guys should ask Tori. So initially I didn't really have any idea to be in radio. Even when I was in school, it was never really a thing. Even when I was working for the company, I didn't really think I would be in radio. And then the opportunity came up, and the company was just always really, really good to me. And I had some other help and encouragement from people within the company, our hosts that I had worked with before. And Jay was also super supportive, and that made that really easy. So it's been 3 years now, and what got me into it was just the love of Windsor and having a little bit of influence, just like a tiny, tiny little bit, and people listening and kind of caring what you have to say. Is kind of anything. Anybody wants that, right? Yeah.
And what would you say are some skills that people trying to get into the industry should focus on really developing?
Yeah, networking. Networking, the ability to talk to people, crowds, but also individual networking. That would be the most important thing. I got the job because of who I knew and how I was able to talk to people. So a lot of people want to talk about the radio technical skills and like the cadence and the flow and enunciation and stuff like that. But I find that kind of comes later and through practice, and being on air kind of throws you into it. But the technical skills, yes, they're important, but I think more so honing in on what makes you special, why people want to hear what you have to say. Content creation is also something that you have to be able to naturally do. Creativity, even when you don't think you're creative, everybody is creative, so focus on expanding that. And again, networking, like that's truly kind of everything.
Well, you say networking.
Yeah.
You actually have your podcast of your own.
Yes.
I have to ask, if there was one dream guest you could have on your podcast, who would it be?
Oh my gosh. I think people think it would be like somebody huge and famous and something that would just bring so much attention. But the entire point of that podcast is to kind of talk to normal people, just regular people who I think are interesting but don't really get the chance to show it. So it would probably be somebody like the owner of a restaurant locally that everybody loves and knows has an interesting story. Or like, I recently went to this bar there's a bar in Detroit called Nemo's, and they just have this like crazy backstory and history in Detroit and like sports and all this kind of stuff. So like the owner of that would be cool. I find a lot of people listen to the podcast and say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that person even lived in Windsor, but they have such an interesting story. So that kind of thing, which sounds very humble, but if I had to say like something crazy, then Beyonce.
All right.
But she doesn't do interviews, so.
All right. Well, thank you, Tori. We've just spent 3 minutes with the Mix 96.7 host, Tori Roovers. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
If you're looking for all things entertainment, well, Zach and Riley have you covered. Here's ZNR Entertainment.
Hi, I'm Zach.
And I'm Riley.
And we'd like to welcome you to our segment, ZNR Entertainment,
where we'll be talking all the latest in TV, movies, music, celebrities, and more.
So stick around to see what's in store for this week.
This week I sat down with Michelle Boots, who is the co-creator behind Cobbled Characters. They make huge costumes for live actors to wear at different events. They got started making costumes for Crowfest Chatham, Kent, which was this past weekend. But now I sat down with her to talk to her a little bit more about what she does.
So Jay Henderson reached out to me last year. Like a few years ago, he was like, do you want to make puppets with me? Like, so Jay is like a busker, and that's like his full-time gig, really. And so he said, I really want to make puppets. And at the time it was pre-COVID, and I was like, I'm busy and intimidated by that task, and I'm interested, but I don't want to do it. And then COVID hit, and I was like, you know what? I got nothing else going on. Did you still want to make puppets? And he was like, I've been waiting for you to come back to me about this. So I went to Fanshawe College, and I got a advanced diploma in fine arts. And I was making these, like I like sculpture a lot. I like drawing and stuff, and I'm kind of like a little bit of a fantasy nerd. So I've always liked Jim Henson. And at the time, I was making these almost masks. You wouldn't wear them, but they're more sculptural, and they were made out of like sheets, so like a full sheet to make like a big face.
So you made 3 crows that are there. What was it like trying to figure out how to make a crow?
It was a little stressful, but what was funny, I'm from like a pretty creative family, and so at the time when I was like sketching for the crows, I was at a cottage with my mom and like her whole side of the family, and they all like have their own like artistic interests. And so when I was like sketching, I was like, what do you think? Like it just happened I was around all the right people to bounce ideas off of. And then the other side of it is that the furry community turns out is like super like all the maker communities are actually very helpful. They put patterns and stuff up on the internet. So I was able to buy a wing pattern that was like off of Etsy that was designed by a furry creator, and then modify it in order to make it more crow-like.
Have you done anything with costumes since then because of Crowfest? Like, have you broadened your horizons a little bit more and done some more stuff?
This last summer, we made a troll. His name is Boots. I didn't name him. I don't know. I don't want to say that he's named after me, but so he's a river troll, and that's like the largest thing that I've made. And it's funny because it's like I could remake something just slightly different. You know, like I have the bones of something. I have a pattern, but instead I was like, well, I don't want to remake the same thing. I have no idea why that was in my head.
Thanks so much to Michelle Boots for sitting down with me. You can check out more about Cobbled Characters on their Instagram page at Cobbled Characters.
By the way, Taylor Swift, if you're watching, we would love to have you on an episode of ZNR Entertainment. Up now is another installment of Talkin' Pictures. Here's Dylan and Blake.
Or is it Blake and Dylan?
Wow.
We'll let you figure it out.
Mr. Ford, you made a picture called Three Bad Men, which was a large-scale Western, and you had a quite elaborate land rush in it. How did you shoot that?
With a camera.
All right, we got 2 more talking pictures for you guys here today. We got 2 iconic close-up shots for you. We got The Passion of Joan of Arc's iconic close-up shot and Psycho's iconic close-up shot, one of Norman Bates and one of the titular Joan of Arc. Now, visual acting is all over these shots. In fact, that is the central focus of these shots. You'll notice the framing is pretty similar, but very different emotional context for both. Now, Anthony Perkins revels in the mess that he's caused over the course of the film. You can see it all over his face and especially within his eyes. Now, I love how they parallel that with his mother's voice in his head to give you more context and information about what he's feeling in that moment. Compare that to Renee Falconetti, who just supercharges the scene with emotion, and you cannot help but feel empathy for her. At the end of her road, you can see all you need to see within her eyes. And the soundtrack just, maybe the greatest soundtrack of all time. I don't know. Maybe the greatest silent film of all time, if you ask me. And I'll certainly say that Norman Bates is my personal favorite character in any film that I've seen. You'll just have to see that one for yourself to find out what's ticking in his brain. Now, when both characters reach their wits' end, they both highly contrast as far as their emotions. Obviously, you can see in Passion of Joan of Arc, it's a very virtuous film, and you cannot dance around this type of subject in that way, whereas the acting of Perkins really does highlight the disturbed mind. But it's something that you can't help but enjoy with him a little bit. It's very sinister to watch him form that smile as his mother's voice talks to him slowly in the background. It's one of the most iconic parts of that film, besides obviously the shower sequence. So those were the two shots we compared. I'm Dylan Moskovsky. And I'm Blake Moskovsky. Thanks for watching on this. We will maybe be doing close-ups again. Maybe we'll be doing opening shots again. You don't know. We don't know, really. We'll have to see, but stay tuned for next episode of Talking Pictures.
All tidied up. The bathroom.
Zach is back with another report in his Did You Know series. What do I need to know, Zach?
Behind me is Hoffer Brewery, which is located right here on Front Road in LaSalle. It was one of Windsor's original 6 breweries, and it operated until 1945 when many of the breweries consolidated. Now, this building took advantage of Prohibition-era legal loopholes as the location was ideal for smuggling alcohol. They would ship it across the Detroit River to Ecorse in Wyandotte, Michigan, in the dead of night via boats that were parked on nearby islands. During the height of Prohibition, the brewery was cranking out 4,500 bottles of beer a day for the MediaPlex. I'm Zachary Ballog.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Gracie Lowe's.
And I'm Zachary Ballog.
And you've been watching
the MediaPlex Insider.